is a lockpick. If you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Looting through the rubble, leaving cities war-torn, still incurring more scorn. Ragged and I'm forlorn, trying to unlock this. Open with my lockpicks, punching with my second hand every time the clock ticks.
All right, there you go.
Alright, sorry for it being so loud in here. Let me actually adjust the volume here, and let's go to the face mode. Let's see the face. Oh, I forgot to do the stinger. Hang on, let's try this again. Hold on. This is going to be like a very weird stream. Very short, too, I might add, just because I had to... let's get into it. Let's try this again. Just chatting. Face stream. There we go, close enough. Hi everyone out there. It's finally nice to stream again. And unfortunately, when we did start this stream, I forgot to load the chat. So I might have to do a roundabout way in order to do the chat. And because I was so busy trying to set everything up, I didn't even realize that. But anyhow, welcome to the live stream. To do a quick introduction here, I'm Sidepocket. I'm one of the two co-founders of DC201, otherwise formerly known as DEF CON 201 or DC201. We are one of the many DEF CON groups across the United States and around the world. And I just realized this is normally where I would go in. And, you know, I just thought of something. Hang on. Let's try to do something smart here. Attempt to do something smart. I'm going to load up Firefox. Keep this window open, but I want to try something different. Let's try something different. Alright. So what we're going to do is, let's go here. Hope everything loads up fine. For those of you who aren't aware or haven't seen when we did the Crypto Baron stream, we are currently at OS New York City, which is a streaming and video game place in, streaming and video game place that is in New York. So even though we are the New Jersey DEF CON group, we're currently streaming from New York. I'm going to be doing that until we find like a nice quaint space where everything will actually work. Just trying to get into like, so we can do like a chat here. Used to have a chat setting, hang on. Maybe in settings. That's fine. Because I want to post our links and stuff. If we don't, I'm just going to skip it. Email settings, social. I forgot also to do social alerts. Oh, yeah, this is such good. It's going to be a cool stream. We have a cool subject, but like, in terms of my personal stuff, unfortunately, this is going to be such a shit show stream. And to be fair, it is all my fault. Because for those of you who might have followed me on Instagram, you probably noticed that I was at an event that has nothing to do with hacking or lockpicking, which is what we normally are. We are a computer hacker group in Jersey City, New Jersey. And yeah, that event was supposed to end at 9, and it went way later than what it was actually supposed to be. So I ended up getting here even later than normal, and then I had to set up and all of that, but you know, I'm here now, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find where normally under here we would find the chat section, and for some reason it is escaping me right now. Let's see. Yeah, that's the same. Give me one more second. If I can't find this, we're just going to skip it and pray to the chat gods. And I will be looking at chat, and I do like when people are very interactive in chat. But if you're also here to lurk and learn, we're going to be learning a bunch in the next 40 minutes. As I always say, keep lurking and keep learning. I'm so mad about the social alerts. So we used to have a separate chat menu here, and for some reason I can't find it. And again, we are at a live place. In future live streams, we'll be getting the soundproof booth. This was sort of an impromptu thing, and that's why, like, so if you hear any sounds or people cheering or complaining, I have, like, no control over that, so just as a warning there. Let's Can I just do this? Let's see what this brings up. No, just so I guess they got rid of that feature. Alright, so as an eternal jackass said, fuck it, we'll do it live. So, let me, wrong thing. Let's try that again. There we go. Alright, let's go back to here. So, what are we streaming about? Well, normally we stream our meetings that used to happen every third Friday of the month. I am currently negotiating with a new venue, so we might have a physical meeting this month, even if it's just us gathering in a place. I am pushing everything to February, and then in March we actually have our 6-year anniversary, which feels like a nothing burger because of all the craziness that happened last year, or not much happened last year. So, hi Raven, and hi Dalp. And keeping up on your stuff, it's pretty neat. So speaking of keeping up on stuff, we also sometimes do specials or ongoing shows. I have 2 of them. One of them is Crypto Barons, which we will see probably this Saturday, where I look at blockchain technologies as technologies. Hey Night Owl. This show is probably the most popular one, called Master of Unlocking, where we look at locks. We look at physical security features such as locks, doorknobs, padlocks, electronic locks when we can, see how they work and figure out security flaws in them, and do things like lock picking and shimming and bypassing, all sorts of techniques to see if we can defeat this security. I will say that we do have a link tree, so I'm just going to read it out loud because I can't type in for shit today. Actually, you know what? I can actually go on my forbidden personal account and tweet it out. So we do have a link tree. I'm going to type that in chat. You're going to see my legal name pop up in a moment. So here's how we're going to do this. I hate Android keyboard. I have a Pixel 6a, which works, but I fucking hate it. Here we go. So this link tree, and it's going to be the only thing that I'm going to post. Hopefully everyone sees it. This should have our non-existent website, everything, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and before we get into this episode, I'm still setting up stuff for the mail, so thanks to Night Owl, who I always say is my mentor, even though he probably disagrees with that, but thanks to Night Owl for making today's next 40 minutes possible for the thing that we're going to cover. And yeah, I just picked it up today, and he had a lot of crazy stuff, and I had a lot of crazy stuff. You can probably see in chat what it is. Hope everything works out for you, man. And hopefully one day we'll hang out, drink, and talk about locks when it's not pandemic and not raining. Because every time we meet recently, it's always been raining. So let's get into what we are here today for. So here's what we're here today for. I'm going to very briefly change into desktop mode. So today, technically it's yesterday and today, but for the sake of I'm going to say today, is Chinese Lunar New Year. So happy Chinese Lunar New Year. God, that's a tongue twister. Happy Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. It's the year of the rabbit. Funny thing is that my year and birthday, my Chinese zodiac sign is the rabbit. So this is technically my year. So yay for me. And I figured that for this week, for both Master of Unlocking and Crypto Barons, we would cover the context of China, or as former terrible ex-president said, China, in the context of our show. So, what are we going to be looking at today? Well, what we're going to be looking at, let's go back to face mode here, is there's a tool that I have been wanting for a while now. I was originally going to order one myself. Again, my P.O. box has not been set up yet. It's in process of it, so that way we can get next month's episodes, the show on the road. But there is a tool, and originally when we were going to have more time, we were also just going to watch this amazing talk that was done at Hope about Chinese locks, but we don't have the time for that. Again, it's going to be a very quick episode. Where I will put it this way. A lot of Chinese tools, in my opinion, especially for base Chinese tools, One, a lot of them are terrible. They have terrible steel yields. They're non-tumbled. You have to like polish them, and you have to take like a sandpaper brick that's like 120 or more and smooth out all the corners, otherwise things will get stuck. Also, in general, it seems like a lot of Chinese lock keyways are bigger, so they tend to make the tools bigger, which means that a lot of the base Chinese tools, in my opinion, have a hard time fitting into American standard keyholes, never mind European ones, or probably the tiniest ones. But yes, Urban Hawk had an amazing presentation. If we had more time, I would air that. I will say that even though it's a little inappropriate, maybe for crypto barons, I will end the episode with that presentation, because we actually don't have a lot to cover for crypto barons. Today's going to be short, but a lot. But there are interest, and also China is notorious for cloning locks, and we're actually going to look at a clone in a moment. So pretty much a lot of Chinese companies, and even though, to be fair, a lot of lock companies in general do this, they'll take a blueprint by like Master Lock or Avis, and they will clone the insides of those. So you're thinking you're getting like a unique lock from China, when in reality you're getting a standard lock from Master Lock or Avis or whatever that's been cloned over, and you don't even realize it. A lot of innards. And to be fair, while that's really common in China, it's not unique to China. Almost all lock manufacturing companies do it. However, China does, in my opinion, have very interesting specialty locks and tools. Again, if you look at Urban Hawk's presentation, there's been some crazy experiments of making all sorts of different types of lock mechanisms, both for security and just for batshit craziness purposes. And then there's really unique lock-picking tools. I will put it this way. This clear lock that I always show everyone, this clear padlock that I have, that I use for visual demonstration, is from China. And usually when you see clear locks, they are probably imported from China. And in fact, there's some very unique clear locks that you can only get from China. Now, since Chinese locks have bad rep in the US, mostly because they're only imported super cheap clones. The stuff they make domestic is really amazing. Yeah, exactly what I mean. There is some really unique, high standard stuff. It's just there's a gap between like the general shittiness and like the crazy unique stuff. And one of the most notorious unique tools that I've never used until today's episode, until I return it, and again, thank you Niall for lending this, is from Mr. Lishi. It's hard to do with because I have the crappy camera, but there's this little image built into it. This is a Mr. Lishi 2-in-1 pick. It picks and codes. It has a super interesting design. We're going to go on a short, like, minute or two break. As I set the camera, you're not going to see my face. I will do dual cameras next month. But I'm going to move this camera over so you can kind of see the table here. And we're going to kind of go into this pick from Mr. Lishi that you can get from China. What it does, how it works, and I'm going to use one for the first time, which means I'm probably going to fail really horribly about it. Actually, Dark Arts, I will argue this. I would say this pick, and to be honest, the Goso 24 pick set, in terms of picks, there's teaching products that I think China is very unique to, that I'm getting and have been getting. But the reason why I say the Goso 24 is not as an everyday lock pick set. What a lot of people don't realize is that those lock picks, as honestly there's a whole segment in China that doesn't exist in America that is uniquely based on automotive locks. So the Goso 24 set, because there's like some that are normal but they're super long, and there's a bunch of others that just look fucking weird. Those are actually designed to pick automotive ways for Toyota, Volkswagen, BMW, etc. So if you're looking into, which we will be covering later this year, and hopefully we'll actually have an in-person thing about this, automotive locks and lock picking, the Goso 24 set, I would also say, is a decent to good set. Although, another unique thing, by the way, before we transition over, is that, and I'll read what Niall says in a moment, another thing from what I understand, so in America, the pin at the top is how we orient our locks in this way. So all the pin stacks in the Bible are at the top, space at the bottom. In Europe, not only do they have smaller keyways in general, but they put usually their pin stacks on the bottom. So instead of holding your pick set pointed up, holding it pointed down. Now, some people, the Europeans argue we're doing it upside down. We argue they're doing it upside down. From my understanding, in Asia, it can be either way, but from what I understand, it's more common in China to have it European oriented. So the weird thing, and I wish I had them with me right now, I sadly don't. I should have brought them with me, about the Goso 24-piece set, is that they have these really comfortable, kind of cheap but still comfortable, ergonomic, what they call bread handles. There's a giant tournament going around, and they're almost done with it. You can kind of see it going around behind me. But they have grooves where to put your fingers. But a lot of people give that kit shit because the grooves are the wrong way. But what a lot of people don't realize is that when most Chinese people are tackling those locks and auto locks, the grooves on the handle line up with the pick tip pointed down to pick the locks with the pin set going down, not upwards like we would be holding it, which is why the grooves don't make sense for us. So with that out of the way, we're going to look at the donated by Night Owl. Thank you so much. The Mr. Lishi M1 and M2 Master Lock Decoder set. I know originally we did Schlag, and I'll get into that a little bit at the end, but you're going to listen to a bit to some more copyright, open source. The tournament's really getting heated. Chinese New Year music. Give me a minute to set up over here, and I'm going to show you how it works, and hopefully we'll be able to pick and decode some master locks. So stay tuned for a moment. We will be right back. Let's see if we did this correctly. Here we go. Hopefully. There we go. Okay. So I hope we can all see this here. Let's see. Lots of talk going on. Let's see. Chinese domestic market has some stuff against EVAA and the rest of some high-tech manufacturing Europe for its money in mechanical design. Even in the U.S., a lot of people forget these days a lot of locks have the keyway oriented horizontally. Because of the key and lever cylindrical locks. Yes, in fact, something I have to constantly tell my students all the time. I'm going to raise the mic sensitivity just a little bit, even though that tournament's going on in the background, is that, let's try to get this a little bit more pointed down. Let's see here. Let's do it like that. There we go. Is that when I show them the clear lock, I let them know that the reason why there's springs in there is because without the spring tension, if you could turn the lock upside down, then all the pins would just go above the shear line and you'd be able to just open the lock. Oh man, I don't know why they're doing the end of the Smash tournament now, but whatever. We're just going to make this episode work the way it works. And thank you also again, this is Ginger Ale from OS New York. So thanks to them for keeping me hydrated. I can't wait for next month when we do this in the soundproof booth, because the booth is so well soundproof that you'll be able to actually hear the individual clicks and mechanisms of the lock. I know today's episode's noisy, just like it was for Crypto Barons last time, but we're going to be able to deal with this. And of course, I'm going to obviously eventually revisit the Mr. Lishi picks here. Now, here's something else about this too, right? And it's pretty interesting. So originally, like I said, when someone won the tournament, we were going to use a pick that fit into the SC4 Schlage keyway slot. So if I can get this open, most of my stuff from Sparrows has the SC1 keyway. And when I posted that, oh, we're doing SC4 keyways, Deviant reached out to me, congratulated me that we're doing this episode, and then had to explain something that I had to tell him that I said that about the keyway on purpose, because what's so kind of interesting is that Mr. Lishi has like the listings of the actual keyways this can fit into, because let's quickly look at the tool itself. So unlike your normal like pick set, it looks kind of bizarre. However, what it essentially is doing is it's combining the pick with the tensioning tool at the same time, as well as a method in order to decode it. So what you do is you kind of flip this handlebar open here, keep it like that. This exposes this little grid section here, which we'll get into in a moment, but this is the actual pick. I can't wait to use this because this is such an odd yet kind of clever way to like do lock picking, because I'm just so used to holding everything from the tops and kind of just sliding in from the sides. It's just such a very odd and interesting method here. The reason why it has that opening on the sides is because again you have this grid, which means that as you set pins into place, you can then match the different points on the grid and see where the position of the pin is as well as its height. So if you chart all of that down, you can essentially not only just speed run through that type of lock with that type of bidding, but since you know the bidding, you can actually just make keys for it if you have the key blank and you know how to make key blanks, assuming that you're not just going to use Lock Me or whatever in order to order the key, or just go to your local locksmith. But like I said, you have this little handlebar here to do the tensioning on, and then this part is the actual pick. Now, the reason why there's so many Mr. Lishi picks, and this is why this is labeled M1 to MS2, is that the bottom part, and I wish I had this with me, but I'll just use a different key. The bottom part that you insert into the keyway is the actual, like, non-bitted bottom half of an actual key blank. So, similar to the problem of bump locks, you have to use a Mr. Lishi for said lock. And so the reason why I said SC4 keyway is because Schlage has different product numbers for their different keyways, and the main difference between the S1 and the S4 is the S1 has 5 pins. Sorry, the S1 has 5 pins, and the SC4 has 6 pins. So a lot of people kind of figured out early on that, for the most part, if you get like the SC4 and you just ignore the 6-pin part, you can just use that and pick a 5-pinner because it already has the 5 pins. And because of that, Mr. Lishi has also made like kind of more universal ones that fit into multiple different keyway types because of their similarities. And that's why I said SC4, because it's not that the keyway shape is any different. That's a difference between the actual amount of pins. And the crazy part is that Schlage, in my opinion, is the more easy one to follow when it comes to their naming convention. You do not want to know what some of the other ones are like Quickset and Guard, and the rest of them are just fucking nuts. Now, if I had chat working, I do want to shout out that Deviant did not only a series on the Mr. Lishis for the Schlage series, but he also has a video explaining the different Schlage types. And in fact, if Night Owl wants to, if he's still in the chat, he could tell me, if he wants to disclose it, a funny story about kind of Deviant doing Schlage Week. So we're not doing Schlage Week because I was unable to get an SC4 thanks to my mailbox not being set up in time. So yes, the GTS or the Sergeant L and R, it gets absolutely dumb out there when it comes to different keyways. As Bosnian Bill famously said about Asa Alboy, there's just some lock manufacturers that hate lock pickers and hate locksmiths. Let's just put it that way in terms of annoyingness. But Night Owl came to the rescue because I wasn't able to get an SC series Mr. Lishi, and instead he got me the M1 and the MS2. Now the reason why it's named that way is the MS stands for Master Lock, and this should fit into most what are called standard Master Lock keyways, made the most famous from the Master Lock 1 through 5 series. And so what I did is, yes, the Lishi Cowboy. There's a ton of videos you can look up on this. Later on, probably tomorrow, I'm going to re-edit the description that will have those links in there. And because Night Owl donated this one to me, and we have roughly 20 minutes left, I did by default put his YouTube channel in the show notes. But tomorrow in the show notes, I will upload not only what's his face, not only I'm dumb, I forgot to write this down. Not only Urban Hawk's YouTube video, but also Deviant talking about Schlages and Mr. Lishi, as well as the Lishi Cowboy by SC Lock and Key. Again, we're going to revisit these when I buy my own Mr. Lishis, but we're going to explore this now. So, what do we have here on the table that I forgot how the camera is positioned and put everything upside down? So I have a bunch of Master Locks where this should work on. Now, the base one that I already tested and it should work on, I haven't picked any of these yet. I've never used this to pick, by the way, this is your standard Master Lock number 3. So, slide that in there and it fits literally like a glove. So there's that. I also have a Chinese bootleg of a Master Lock number 3 that I keep on me because of, thank you Al for posting the link, a link for Schlage Week. I have a Chinese knockoff of a Master Lock number 3 that I keep because of its odd peculiarities that we'll get into in a moment. I have, which should fit,
keyword is should. We're going to try this right now. A master lock number 15, aka the master lock that you can kind of throw a brick at. Now, I don't know if this is exactly going to fit, but we're going to find out. The weird thing is that it does match the shape, but there's something off about it. See, I'm not going to break Night Owl's tool by forcing it, so we'll look at this one independently, but I guess that one doesn't fit in. I also got this American Lock 700 rip-off from Master Lock, where they just redid the label. And again, I'm having the actual, even though it's like, it does look like the same shape, to be honest, but I'm having the same problem inserting it into this, so I guess that's incompatible. And then my other Master Lock is this infamous Decoder shitty lock that Lock Noob has covered. This is the lock that keeps on giving, where I can cover lock picking, raking, shimming, and decoding all in one lock. And the thing is that it has a keyhole on the side if you forget the combo, which is another way to attack it. And it's super small, so I don't even know if it's going to, it is so small that this doesn't even properly line up this. So unfortunately, even though the 15 has a very similar shape to the bottom ones, it's just not fitting. Maybe I haven't looked at the catalog for Mr. Lishi Master Locks, but maybe there's one that's similar to the SC20 where it covers a wider range. I don't know. Yeah, he said that will not fit the M1 178 because I know there's a bunch of Master Locks that this doesn't fit in. I just tried to find the ones that visually were the same keyhole that I had, and it turns out that these big boys we're going to ignore for now. It doesn't work. Instead, we're going to look at what it's primarily designed for, which is this Master Lock number 3. And this Master Lock number 3 bootleg. Let me take a sip here. So, before I attempt to pick this with the Mr. Lishi M1 and MS2 that Night Owl thankfully donated for me, but it should fit and it's kind of off here. Yep, 1 through 5s, exactly. I haven't been able to get the number 5 yet, or an elusive 4, so I'm working on it. I might actually go shopping tomorrow and look for that off because after work I have nothing to do tomorrow. But some people have asked me, why do I carry both a normal Master Lock number 3 and this bootleg that G.I. Jack donated for me? Well, the odd thing is there's a couple of differences. One, for some reason, I don't know why, and it even says made in China, by the way, on the bootleg lock too. I have a harder time picking the bootleg lock than I do the number 3. So to be honest, it's been a while, so I might be a little rusty. But here's me kind of normally picking the Master Lock number 3 and try to do the tensioning as I remember. And again, you can all make fun of me in the chat for my weird claw way of doing the picks. This is just the way I like to hold the picks comfortably and naturally. And I just overset with too much tension, so I'm going to reset that. Yes, it's just a brass version of number 3. I still want one because people ask one all the time. So that's just me picking the Master Lock number 3 open, single pin picking, right? For some reason, I have single pin picked this one open, but it is really uncommon. You've all seen me try to do it on stream. In fact, one of the times I did pick this open, which I might try later on, was by using, Using, Kilamaru's custom bone pick that he graciously gifted me eons ago, 2 years ago in an episode. That I used this on. In fact, if I remember correctly too, I also have a hard time raking it. And the weird thing is, I don't know why I have a bigger problem with the bootleg. It might be because of a tensioning thing. There might be a different tension on this than what is on normal Master Lock 3. I honestly, hold on, let's try it like this. I honestly don't know. Because the thing is that it's also a little tricky to rake open as well. I have a horrible time always doing it on camera. That's what she said. Wink. As I always said, it's literally impossible to do lockpicking and do innuendos. It just comes with the territory. It also catches on a lot of things. It's really weird. But let's go back, and just for the sake of time, I'm just going to rake this open, the Master Lock number 3, and then we'll get right into the Mr. Lishi, because we have 10-15 minutes left in the episode. Don't tell me this is the number 3 that's camera shy. This is the one that's camera shy, isn't it? Alright, hang on. Let's go back to single pin picking here. I also might be distracted by the sweet game going on, to be honest. And also, to be honest, I hate making excuses of myself, but also, to be honest, I have been very busy with work. Yeah, the thing about the Master Locks 1 through 5 is that essentially they have the same core, they're just different body types. It's so weird. Body types, shackle types. It's the same reason why the other beginner locks I always recommend is the Master Lock 120, 140s. And literally the only difference between the two is the lengths of the shackle. Otherwise, it has the same build, same dimension, everything, the same spool pin that's meaningless, all of that. All right, let's calm down and slow down here. Oh, also, got that a little bit bent. Did not mean to do that. All right, let's try this again. So, with my light tension, sticking in here. What's happening is that, like, because I'm constantly thinking of the time that we have left, and also the noise in the background. So, like, I'm, like, rushing through. So I'm probably, which I realized I just did, is I'm over-tensioning it constantly. Also, these locks are heavy, so they're hurting my hands. But I'm stupid, because there's a reason why I picked it open. Let me just zip it open. Why are you being camera shy now? Why? I just had you. And I just realized on the computers here there is a little rabbit on it. There we go. So I don't know why that took so long again. I can make my excuses all day. My brain's not working. So the other reason why I have this lock, this Chinese bootleg, is that the Master Lock number 3s, despite their incredible shittiness, even though it took me a while to open this one, due to a bunch of reasons, they still solved the design flaw that the older Master Lock number 3s had, which is, if you notice, the shackle has this carved cutout in the shackle. That's because, and it's hard to see on this camera, but if you look in there, you'll see a little, like, metallic circle in there. That's a ball bearing. So even the Master Lock number 3s have the anti-shim ball bearing. And so even though I have a harder time, for some reason, picking open this Chinese lock and even raking it open, this still has the older design flaw the Masters have, where it has a wedge shape cut out of the shackle instead of a circle shape, meaning it's using a wedge latch to hold the shackle together instead of ball bearings. So it's susceptible to this awesome, funky trick that I've shown previously, which are, sometimes they're called Talons. They're commonly known as the Master Lock 1 through 5 bypass. And simply what it is you put it in, you push all the pins up, and when you do it right, unlike what I just did, you can lock that into the slot positions that hold the shackle open. So you put one on one side, and then you go with the other talon, you set that the other side, but then you wiggle it back and forth, and essentially that pulls those slots out of that you can feel in the back, and it opens. So you see how this has a wedge shape cut out in it to hold the shackle together on the Chinese bootleg. Master Lock number 3s have actually upgraded to the ball bearings. So even the shitty modern day number 3s have still better security than their older brethren. So if you see a Chinese bootleg like this, that's a clone from Master Lock number 3 or similar to Master Locks 1 through 5s, or you find an old Master Lock 1 through 5, that's why I still carry these master switches of the bypass, is because of those older locks. So that's why I have one of these. Now, what we're interested in and what we're going to use the remaining 10 to 15 minutes on is using the Mr. Lishi tool to not only pick, but decode these. Now, as I said before, this is my first time ever using a Mr. Lishi pick. So this is going to be a very interesting learning experience for me, because as I said before, this works. Same principles. You're still doing tension and pushing the pins up and down, trying to find that binding order until it opens, but it's just such a unique, interesting mechanism. So we're going to try the actual ye old the iconic master lock number 3. So I'm going to put it so that the pick tip, because if you notice, it has like a kind of a hidden railing underneath that slides back and forth on. Let me move this up. It slides back and forth on, and then like when you push up on it, you see that little head pick here? It sort of like dolphins out. So that's how that works. So I want to make sure it's low to its profile when I stick it in. That's what she said. So that way I don't accidentally break the tip. Again, that's what she said. So now that that's in there, I'm going to peel back the little helper bar. And what we're going to do is I'm going to hold it like this. I'm going to put some tension on it. And it's interesting because I'm used to tensioning it with my index finger pointing down. It's interesting kind of pushing up with my thumb. So that's something I have to get used to here. And already what's fascinating is, again, you have that little like indicator at the back here. So you have 1 through 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 4 pins in here. In fact, to kind of confirm, we're going to use my favorite technique on how to find out how many pins there are in a lock, even though Mr. Lishi tells us that already. And what you do is you take a flat back to a tool. I just chose this city rake because it's completely flat. Stick the flat part facing all the pins where the key pins are, push all the way back in, and you push up on it, that lifts all the pins, and you slowly pull back. Now, at home, you're going to feel them drop. But if it's super quiet, which is not what it's like now, you should be able to hear them. And I'm going to hold it close just in case you can hear them. But we're going to pull out here very slowly. That first one dropped. Second one dropped. Third one dropped. Fourth one dropped. That was the 4 pins. So this is correct, as Mr. Lishi put. There's this grid, and it says 1 through 4 because there's 4 pins. Let's stick it back in there. Get this down. So again, what's so odd already is me pushing upwards, tensioning with my thumb. I'm so not used to that, but right now, what's kind of interesting while looking at the grid while doing this is that I can feel like it almost locks into place where the pins are. Like he's exactly felt where it is. Now, usually with master locks, I usually go from the back to the front. So we're going to try this. I think we set 4. Okay, 2 is set. Might be a little overset. Really shouldn't be anything wrong. I just heard 3 or 4, I think, dropped. It says 3 springy, so we're going to try 4. This is so weird doing this. And you have to like, I'm so used to kind of like gliding on top of the pins. With this, you literally, we have an open. Cool! It's my first time. My first time ever using a Mr. Lishi. We got open. That's cool. So we're going to now try the Chinese one. And then we're going to lock the number 3 up. And we're going to see if we can properly decode what we just did. Because that followed very similar to do. Now, I'm very interested in doing this Chinese bootleg. Because again, for some reason, I don't know why the third one is harder for me to pick. I've only opened it like a couple of times, but maybe we'll solve that problem with the Mr. Lishi tool. Alright, so we have it in. We're going to put the tension with the thumb. And you know what's interesting too? The thumb is very fascinating because what do you call it? So 4 is loose. Because, this is really odd. It's kind of confirming some ideas I thought about this one. So, and I'll tell you what those are in a moment. Because, like, I'm so not used to it doing this way, but I don't know if it's because of how big the bar is, or just you have more, like, strong musculature in your thumb. It's easier for me to kind of do lighter tensions using my thumb than doing my index finger, even though I feel like I have more control on my index finger. So this might be like an interesting way of, I feel like I'm not over tightening it with my thumb here. So I'm going to put some light tension on this. Let's feel what's going on. Ooh. So 1, nothing. 2, nothing. 3, nothing. Although I wonder for the boot. Oops, something with 4. I wonder if for the bootleg, I wonder if it's like. Ooh, this one is. There we go. Okay, that one got in there. The 3's loose. 2's loose. 1 is loose. 1 might have been loose. I felt like something dropped there. It's so weird to see this visually correspond with what I'm doing. Okay. 4 set, 3 set, 2. Is it 1 that's not set? It's like something odd that gets caught on 1. I also think that the grid. Let's really solve tension and try it again. It's like the grid doesn't quite line up with the Chinese bootleg. Management's already shutting down computers. We're only going to stream for about like 5 to 6 more minutes, by the way. Told you this was going to be a short episode. Again, I apologize. And I also apologize if there was a skipped connection earlier. The phone jacks don't quite like the streaming computer. I heard that the soundproof room has better phone jacks, so. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't quite line up with the grid on the Chinese bootleg. I wonder if it's the same with the older models, or maybe the Chinese, maybe they didn't like line the lock correctly? Maybe. 4 set in there. 3 set. 4 set. 3 set. There's something odd about this. This is interesting because even though we haven't had it open yet, this has confirmed like some of my suspicions about this lock. That it's not just a simple, it's either such a simple master lock, basically, I think this is one of those things where I think they made the locks, they cloned the locks so incredibly shittily that they actually, like by accident, enhanced the security on it. Try going front to back and see if that changes anything. This is so fascinating, especially since I have a visual here to correspond what's going on. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see, because I know the camera hasn't been the best, I'm actually going to see if I can move the camera over in such a way where you guys might be able to get like a closer view of what exactly what it looks like I'm doing here, okay? So I'm actually going to balance it on this lock. Tilt it down a bit more. Whoop. Don't want it to fall. Alright, so again, I apologize if this is like upside down basically, but we don't have the Elmo anymore, so this is kind of what I have. This is so weird. It is nice to know that it is kind of confirming suspicions I had about this particular lock clone. And that, you know, while maybe there's definitely a skill piece, that I wasn't like going crazy with this lock, despite being supposed to be a direct clone of Master Lock number 3 from like 20 years ago. It's still like not exactly what I thought of. Alright, so in the interest of time, what we're going to do is we're going to relock the Master Lock number 3, and let's see if we can actually properly decode this one.
Let's see if we can find the bidding. And again, unfortunately, I forgot to bring the keys with me for this. But let's see if we can determine the bidding from here. So, put the light tension on. We're going to start from the back. So at 4, bring you on 4. There's really nothing to set. Anything on 3? Nothing on 3. 2. Feels like I set something on 2. Set something here on 1. Which is interesting because normally when I pick this lock, I don't do anything with 1. Okay. Oh, got an open there. Okay, so it seems like it's 1 like at the 3 position, and then 3 at 3 position, and 4 at 1 position that opens. I think that is the bidding on this, and if I remember the key correctly, I believe that's also the bidding on the key. Let's try this one more time, and then we are going to end this very short episode because they close at 12. Again, I had a thing going from 9, got here at 10. We were supposed to stream from 10 to 5 minutes before midnight. That didn't happen, so I promise in February the Master of Locking streams will be way longer. So yeah, it definitely clicks in on 3 from 1. And then for 3, gotta click out of that. And for 1, go down there. This is so interesting. Like, I have to return this to Night Owl on Tuesday, and again, huge shout out to Night Owl for lending me this in order to experiment with it. But I'm doing too much tension, so let's try it again. Let's do that light tension again. But like off cam, I'm gonna have so much fun experimenting with these, and I can't wait to get my own one for SC1 because we're gonna have we'll do a follow-up episode for Mr. Lishi on that, and because this is just such a unique way of picking a lock, and it's like usually I'm very field-based, but it's super nice. It's kind of like this cutaway lock where you can get like a direct visual for like how you feel. It'd be almost like playing Super Mario Brothers entirely with audio throughout your life, and then being able to finally see the graphics and seeing the sounds actually correspond with what you're doing. I found that incredibly fascinating. Alright, let's spend like 2 more minutes on this lock, and then we're going to end the stream. And again, I apologize for how short the episode is. I'm tired. I have work tomorrow. I get up at like 6 a.m. in order to go to work, so I'm barely going to have, by the time I get home, I'm going to barely have like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. This place normally opens to midnight. I'm going to try to stream earlier than that. Also, due to the fact that now I have to book the timing for this, just as a heads up, we might be streaming on different days than what we have today. So if anything changes with that, I'll keep everyone posted. And as I'm also going to be in the outro, we might have a physical meetup this month. Otherwise, and now they're playing copyright music to kick everyone out. So we're, and of course I'm right underneath the speaker too. This stuff telling us we have 10 more minutes left to wrap up your stream because the DMCA will get you. Run DMCA, you gotta sing like DMCA. Now we're gonna get copy struck twice. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna do a follow-up on here, and we will have the soundproof booth. We might be streaming on different days and different hours than what we're normal to, but you know, until I get a new complete workbench setup at home, that's what we're gonna have to deal with. So, that was the M1 MS2 series, Mr. Lishi pick. I'm going to quickly play some actual copyleft music, and then we're going to wrap up the stream, and stay tuned because we're going to raid someone, so hang on a moment, and then we're going to wrap this up. Okay, this might be a safe moment to switch everything, so we're going to go to face chat mode and end the episode. So, that was probably the shortest Master of Unlocking we have ever done on the show, but I'm still really happy about it. It was so awesome to finally explore a Mr. Lishi device. I've always wanted to use one in person, and now I got to use one in person. This makes me super excited to buy my own sets, especially for Schlegs and quick sets. Again, huge shout out to Night Owl for lending me his for the Master Lock M1 MS2 systems by Mr. Lishi. In the show description on all platforms, you can find the link to Night Owl's channel. Super cool tool. It's nice to be able to pick and decode. A bit of a learning curve, but like once you kind of learn it, this is just super invaluable, and I can especially see how this could be valuable for locksmiths, where they have customers who get locked out, and not only can they like have an expert tool on them for the most common sets between quick sets and Schlegs and stuff to pick one open, but then they can actively decode it and then do another key instead of having to just rekey the entire lock. So thank you, Night Owl, for lending me Mr. Lishi tool. Again, if you want to know about Night Owl's channel, so you can see the product description below. If you like all the stuff that you saw today on today's episode, you can like, share, and subscribe to us on Twitch, DLive, and YouTube. Those are our three main platforms. I forgot to mention earlier that when you do follow and subscribe to us while you're watching, we do get like a little prompt that pops down of like, hey, you followed us, and we cheer you on. Forgot to say that earlier because this is like honestly, this was one of the most fun and best streams we've had on Master of Unlocking. It's also probably the most bootleg shittiness, and we had an episode where I was suffering from carbon dioxide poisoning, and this was still like the shit show stream. So every time we have a shit show stream, we always end up having good streams. Who'd have thunk? But yeah, you can follow us on Twitch, DLive, or YouTube. If you're following us on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell and turn on all notifications, because YouTube is a poorly coded piece of shit. So you have to do that yourself. Thank you for watching Master of Unlocking stream. If you are on Twitch, stay tuned, because we're going to go raid another channel that's streaming on Sunday. It could be another making crafting thing, could be a coding thing, a hacker thing, lewd VR models, someone making a cheese sandwich. I don't know. You're gonna find out. So if you're on Twitch, stick around and say hi to that person that we stream. If you are on YouTube, it is going to forward you to a upcoming stream. I believe the one that we chose for this episode is our pal Lady Locks. I hope to have her on and to also be on her stream in March. Nothing confirmed, but I think March would be a great time for most of us to interact. If you haven't heard of Lady Locks, you will absolutely love her stream. She's a very communal person. She's learning, and she's better at a lot of things than I have. So just go check out her channel. Again, on YouTube, it will forward to that future live stream. If you're on DLive, sorry about that. And you'll notice that we also live stream on Facebook, because we are actually currently going to sort out what is going to replace our DLive stream. We'll stream on DLive once in a while in the future, but I think we're going to retire that one and move to a better blockchain and cryptocurrency based stream. Stay tuned for hopefully this Saturday on Crypto Barons to find out. If everything goes right, we should be going back to our regular schedule. So our next Master of Unlocking should be on February 5th and February 19th, but we'll see what the booking schedule is like here at OC. Again, as our OS, thank you once again, OS New York, for hosting us here. And thank you for watching the show. I'm Sidepocket. I'm one of the two co-founders of DCG 201. If you type in DCG 201 in Google, or better yet, DuckDuckGo or Brave Search, you will find all of our stuff. We have our link tree at linktr.ee/DEFCON201. We are on everything. We are on Instagram at DEFCON201. We're on the failing Elon Musk twat at DEFCON21NJ. We're on the hostducks.social instance of Mastodon at DEFCON201. GitHub, Minds.com, co-host, Tribal, all of those different things. Again, I didn't get chat running, but you can find those if you do your Google through. So once again, thank you for watching this episode. Real quick, once again, thank you for Night Owl for letting Mr. Lishi to us. Thank you, OS, despite it being really loud, for hosting us here. Say hi to the people that we're rating on Twitch, and Lady Locks that you're going to be visiting on YouTube. Hack the Planet, Dirty Jersey represents, and remember, is Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. For those out there, I know there was another terrible shooting in America on that. Our condolences to the victims of that. I believe this happened in LA. If you want to learn about all the horribles, you could search online. I didn't want that to be a downer. Let's bring this back to an upper, because, you know, we like uppers. We're hackers. Yeah, happy Chinese New Year, even if you don't celebrate that. It's cool little holiday. You should go look that up on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has a new look, so you can kill two birds with one stone on that. And it's the year of the rabbit, which means it's my year. Which means that hopefully, unlike last fucking year, this year's not going to suck. And to be honest, despite all the conditions, we're off for a good start. I'm Sidepocket, DCG 201, Master of Unlocking. Peace. Join the music. See you next time. See you in February. Okay, Twitch raid's happening right now. Hold on to your butts.